One thing I've learned throughout my life, if you want to grow, if you must want to grow, you need to really cultivate and really take care of your connections. Don't discount them and don't take them for granted. But also we got to remember that not every connection is created equal. There are some good ones and there are some bad ones. But most important, and this is what we're going to talk about today, is that not everybody is wired the same to be a good connection. There's great people out there, but they're just not wired personality-wise and a lot of other ways to not be a great connections. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I have a friend. I've talked about Kevin throughout a lot of my podcasts. Kevin is one of those guys that has a heart the size of Montana. He will absolutely do anything for everybody. Even if he doesn't know you, he's going to help you out. But the other thing that Kevin does is that he takes care of everybody when you least expect to. I know that there's times where I might be 2 or 3 time zones away from Kevin, and Kevin has that knack of just knowing when I'm not having a great day. And all of a sudden I'll get a text and Kevin will have 2 or 3 of his latest jokes that he's been telling everybody. You'll have something on this text screen that just makes me smile, makes me feel good, but just makes me want to say thank you to Kevin. So he knows that every time that he sends me one of those texts, I'm going to give him a call. And it's our way of communicating, even when it's not maybe planned or anything like that. It's just our way of communicating. And so many times in business, because this is what this podcast is all about, in business sometimes we don't take that extra second out of the blue to connect with people, to connect with those people who mean a lot to us, that we mean a lot to them, and we just take it for granted. We don't cultivate that. So today we're going to talk about that, and I got the best person to talk about that. Let me introduce Jenny Langren. How are you?
I am feeling so good being here with you, Roger.
Well, thank you for being my guest today. Jenny is the founder of Nara Communications. She's a leadership author, but more importantly, she's a behavioral science expert for both business and managers. And I don't know really what that means. I think I do. But Jenny, why don't you give us a little bit of idea of really what does a behavioral science expert for business and managers really mean?
Wow. It means that I am a kid in a candy shop. I get to do so many things. I coach managers and CEOs. I get to map out work environments. I get to be counseling people through conflict resolutions. And I teach, and I show up when organizations are in crisis, when they're, for example, a week ago, I was visiting a company where one of the employees had made the decision to end their lives. And I was there and I held space for them, and I had really, really good conversations. So I get to be where life happens and where business happens in every aspect.
Well, I'm glad you're here, but I have to tell you right off the bat, I've never been to that kind of a candy store before. I have a different version of my candy store. And so that might be a whole nother podcast all by itself. So let's go ahead and get started. So Jenny, what type of connections are we talking about today?
When I think of human connection, I think of our humanity and how it's not just an exchange of information. It is an exchange of humanity. It is that we choose and dare to show up human and vulnerable and real so that we can actually meet each other and reach each other where we are, exactly as we are. And I know I felt a strong connection with you, Roger, the last time that we spoke, because I remember showing up and it was late night and I was tired and I wasn't putting up a facade. I chose to let you in on where I was, and you found me right there. Do you remember?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, and I remember ending that conversation feeling that we really truly connected. And it wasn't because I showed up and I was so great and powerful and perfect. It was the fact that I showed up real, and I let you in that I was just like 50% of myself, and you complimented me. It's that type of connection that I speak of.
All right, that clarifies things. But now, in the world out there, everything that you just said about those connections, it sometimes comes across almost as taboo that we're not supposed to feel like that. We're not supposed to talk like that. We're not supposed to act like that. So today is like no other day that we've ever been in. We've got a war going on. We've got hopefully the end of the 2 years of COVID, the great resignation's happening. So why is this type of connection so relevant to us, or should be so relevant to us today?
Well, it is in meeting you that I also get to know myself. Without you or the people around me, I am not able to reflect on my own opinions or emotions, whereabouts. And the things that you're bringing up, it's like the diversity and the rapid ongoing change. It could separate us from each other. And that would cause great confusion. Because as a separate island, I wouldn't know myself. I wouldn't be able to reflect myself in you and how you see me. So the gift of connection is that I get to know you and me. It's the fact that we grow together as a collective. This is what unites us and what makes us strong as a collective and as individuals.
I love how you put that. Now, let's get to the world of business in that business community. We've all had those managers, those owners, those bosses that sometimes we wonder if they even are human. They just seem to come from a completely different planet, and they just don't seem to care about anything other than getting things done, the numbers, you name it. But it's all everything 180 degrees away from being a people person. And I don't talk about just being a pleaser of everybody, but just someone that can react in a human way. So what you've just stated about those connections, how is it really going to affect, or how could it affect business today with everything going on with the great resignation, employees saying, I don't want to go back to that toxic environment. I don't want to go back to that negative environment. So how's it going to help us today to have a better clarity on this issue?
Well, firstly, if you are a manager who resonated with what Roger just described, I'd say there's a lot of strength in being goal-oriented. And we get to recognize that some of us are more goal-oriented in our leadership, and some of us are more what I call process-oriented. That's where connection comes in. So goal orientation means that we stay effective. We keep our eyes on the target. We don't stray from the conversations that will get us to where we need to go. And what we also get to recognize, and this is what connection brings, is that it completes the process, is that it's people who will get us there. Every business is a people business, and it is the people at the end of the day who brings you one step closer. So the process-oriented roles, or the process-oriented leadership, is around the relationships and the communication. It's the how. And some of us are stronger in one end, and some of us are stronger in the other. And we get to recognize that all of us are needed. And if you're goal-oriented, then, well, there's another side to you that you get to explore. And I have a lot of clients that I share this discovery with. It's, we're all needed. If we would be all goal-oriented, then no one would enjoy coming to work. if we were all process oriented, then we would all be having fika, that's the Swedish term for coffee and cookies, and not really get anywhere. So we get to recruit and we get to explore these parts in all of us.
So I want you to say that again. Business is a business of being with people. It's all about the people first and foremost. What does that really mean?
Every business is a people business. It means that it is what we create between us. It is about the connection, and it gets us to the goals.
So Jenny, you talked about how business is a people business. So really, with that in mind, what is the benefits of being and treating your business like a people business? And what does that really mean to the ROI of that business?
Well, recognizing that it's all about connection, I get to first connect with myself and accept myself. Also to recognize that I'm part of this belonging, of this we. And when we share this acceptance of who we are at our core, all of us are able to give ourselves the permission to bring our full skill set to work. It is the celebration of the humanity within ourselves and the fact that it's all a discovery, it's all a co-creation. Accepting the diversity is the key to safe decision making. This is what we see in research. All of us showing up with our own brilliance, our own color, and evaluating decisions fully. It's also the source of co-creation and creativity. So there are so many benefits to recognizing the value of connection.
And probably from a business owner standpoint, the key ROI, besides having just happier and healthier employees, is that they want to be there. They want to stay there. So I'm not always having to, replace and hire and replace, but I get to spend time as a business owner growing the business, as opposed to, for the most part, starting over with what I see a lot of business owners doing, because they just can't keep good help because they're not treating their help like they're good. They're treating them like they're just a fixture. And I like that you're talking about really being that human, bringing that human factor back into it, which we all should never have forgotten to do in the first place. So besides those few little areas, what other areas in a deeper level are business owners and their team leaders falling short with treating the employees like a human than just a fixture?
So I immediately react to the term like falling short because I am not teaching to add to the experiences of shame. And I really love to reframe things. And actually it's calling things by their true name, that it's about exploring those sides of themselves that they have not yet explored. And I am going to take this even deeper. And it's to the fact that to be able to know yourself, to guide your team members to know themselves and be self-motivated, because this is what you're talking about. It's about the team members knowing their core values and understanding how their values align with the company values so that they are there for themselves and for the team's goals. I work with so many leaders who are about do, and they measure their worth in their success. And what I get to bring is to shift it, to understand what's your peace of mind in this situation, and choose that first. To grow compassionate eyes towards yourself so that you are serving from a full cup and able to hold that space for your team. So I would never add to any shame or experiences of failure. I'd say it's time to stop being in the do and recognize that you're a person growing through this experience. And once your team connects on a deeper level, that creativity and trust and those safe decisions that are made in the process is going to show up in profit. I've seen it so many times.
Well, Jenny, this has been great. I could sit here and listen to you longer and longer and longer. So I want to thank you for being my guest speaker today. And I want you to leave the podcast with a little bit more of some inspiration to the listeners out there to give them a better frame of mind on maybe stepping in this direction that you've presented to us, as opposed to staying, knee high or waist high deep in all the muck that they've created over the years.
Well, I'd say that every day is new, and we show up in business and we walk in that door, and it's easy to put on a facade. I recognize that you're a human being and that you struggle with many of the things that I also struggle with, and I respect you and I see you in all of it. And there are so many things in our lives that we experience as holding us back. I think this pandemic has been an opportunity for all of us to recognize that there are things that we get to let go. I teach a lot about letting go. And if you're resonating with this, I want you to know that the secret to change is to turn your focus towards the new. This pandemic has brought to many of my clients the awareness of what is a no to them, what they are not resonating with anymore. And I'm encouraging you to consider, what is your yes? What's your pleasure list? What do you enjoy in life? And to fill your mind with it. And I'm recognizing that often it's about the relationships. So you get to fill your mind with it. And when we do, the things that we are ready and willing to let go of, it's just no more room for them. So celebrating your journey. Thank you.
I love that. I love to celebrate those journeys. And I also know that the only person out there that really wants change on a regular basis is a wet baby. And so as adults, we do have to step up and take on the courage and discipline to make some of those necessary changes. Jenny, I can't thank you enough. You've been just a lovely guest speaker today. How can the audience reach out to you if they want to learn more about you and get in front of your books?
Wonderful. Thank you, Roger. So I am on LinkedIn, Jenny Langren. Just reach out. I love that personal connection. And my books are on my homepage there on LinkedIn, and they are also on Amazon. And my first book is Choosing Unity Starts With Us. And this is also one of my core values. So it's been a pleasure sharing that with the world.
Well, thank you again. My podcast wouldn't be the same if it wasn't for my sponsors and my great supporters. So let me take this opportunity to thank each and every one of them. First of all, I want to thank Rebecca at Custom Bookkeeping and Accounting, delivering trustworthy bookkeeping services since 2003. Dave and Dara at Virtues Matter, making this world a much happier place to be with their Virtues Card apps, coaching, and workshops. Stephen at Buller Accounting, giving business owners depth and insight to their numbers. Eric and his team at Ivy Cat Web Design, the real superheroes of web development and design. Jennifer and Jean at the Seavers Real Estate Team, serving Pierce and Kitsap counties with their home buying and selling needs. Maury at the Maury Method, the world's only brainwave entrainment engineer, helping everyone have more clarity, less stress, and overall better brain health. Priya at Pivot My Profit, helping individuals and businesses have better control of their finances and more money at the end of their day. Melissa at the Soul Vibe Energy High, the queen of the aha moments, helping individuals find those holes in their cups, repair the hole, and gain back their positive energy. And finally, Rick at West Sound Recording. You talk, they do all the rest. Thank you, Rick, for all your efforts with the production and editing of my podcast.